So today's video is about how we can use Vanna.AI to generate database insights from simple natural language queries. Let's understand at high level how Vanna.AI works. Once you ask a question to the pre-trained Vanna.AI model, it searches its internal vector store having the trained data, prepares the prompt with similar questions, and its output SQL queries. So this enriched prompt will be passed on to the large language models, which in effect use the test to SQL capability to generate the output SQL. So these LLMs are capable of generating accurate SQL queries from natural language description, a feat which is made possible by their vast knowledge base and context understanding capabilities. And then the Vana models will further execute the SQL query and provides the results in tabular form or charts or data frames or other plots. And then there's a reinforced training could be done, which will whether you can show whether the results was correct or no, and you can edit the output SQLs and then try to retrain it. And these retraining materials will go back to the vector store. And this will help further refine the quality of the Vana.ai outputs. Let me create a new folder. So I'm going to install the Vana package. So let me put a couple of import libraries from Vana. So I have imported the vector DB and the chroma DB, which is internal to the Vana library. And now I'm going to also import the Olama library from Vana. So let me create a class to initialize these DBs. So I'm initializing the chroma DB, the vector store from Vana. So I'm creating an instance of Vana agent. So I'm going to use Mistral as the key model for my Vana agent. So my next step is basically to connect to my Postgres database where my sample database is. Now I'm going to run the Vana agent's Flask app, which is a very simple application layer for the Vana agent. So let me import the Flask libraries from Vana. So I'm initializing the Flask app and I'm passing on the Vana agent. So I'm going to run the Flask app. So before I run the application, let me install the Chroma DB library as well. I'm going to install Olama as well, so that this library is made available to the Vanna.AI package. And I'm also installing the Psycop G2 binary as well. I think there were some dependencies issues which was causing me issue, so I'm installing it separately. Now I can start the application. As you can see right now, there is no training data, which is something which we need to add so that we get the right output. So let me first give the DDL statement to make sure that the Vanna understand the schema of my database. So I create a plan for it. So the database schema has been shared as a plan to the Vanna agent. So let me go and execute the Vanna agent here. So let me add a couple of training statements back to the code. I'm going to give a brief description about the database as another training documentation. Now I'm going to add a question, and then I will try to train them with the corresponding SQL statements, which could be potentially the way to find out the answer for that particular question. So in this particular question, I'm asking what albums are available from Rolling Stones. Now, if I have to execute an answer for this particular question, I would have used a particular SQL query, and I'm going to use that SQL query as a training material to the Warner agent. Now the Warner agent knows that for questions like if you want to identify the number of what is the albums available from Rolling Stones, this is the SQL statement which is you need to execute. As you can see, some of the training which I have done is now getting uploaded into the training data. So let me go ahead and ask a question to the Warner. So I'm going to ask the question, what are the top 5 artists by sales? As you can see, it provided the artist, the total number of sales, and you can see that it has created me a graph as well, and I'm reinforced it by saying that the results were correct.